Hello and welcome to the University of Scranton's City Council interviews for the May 20th, 2025 primary election. We're joined now by Marc Pane, who is running to be the Republican nominee for Scranton City Council. Thanks for being here, Marc.
Thanks for having me.
This year there will be 3 open seats for Scranton City Council where members serve 4-year terms. At the end of a 4-year term, what would you like to say you were able to accomplish for the residents of Scranton?
Besides making our city safer, pretty much anything that they asked of me. Right now I go to a lot of council meetings or I talk to a lot of people, and they seem to come in and have questions or issues or concerns, and council right now sits there and they'll nod their head politely and sometimes turn to the city clerk and ask him to follow up with it or through with it, and that's pretty much the end of what you hear. And then sometimes months or even a year later, you'll go back, people will come in and they'll have the same issue and it was never addressed, and they all have a look of surprise on their faces. That shouldn't be. When a resident asks you or addresses you with a problem, an issue, a concern, you need to follow through with that. You need to see it to the end and make sure that they got the outcome that they were looking for that was more beneficial to the city. And I'll do that.
Thanks. Scranton has seen rising concerns about housing affordability, aging infrastructure, and the availability of quality rental units. What specific policies would you propose to ensure safe, affordable housing for both renters and home buyers?
Well, that's a loaded question. Right now, the rental registration office that we have in the city would have you think that it's there for the protection of the tenant, and it doesn't seem to be that. There's no database that anybody could ever seem to locate when we have an issue with a tenant or a landlord. I would like to get that department straightened out, make it so that every apartment, every rental unit in the city is inspected and okayed by our city. And this way that people coming into the city looking for affordable housing can rely on the place that they're going is going to be a safe, decent apartment for themselves. On the other side of that, I also would like to have institute a rule or an ordinance where the landlords have to give us a copy of their leases so we know the people that are here in the city. I mean, a lot of times right now, they'll inspect it up front and an inspection doesn't happen again. Well, they might have a bad tenant in there who destroys the place, damages it, moves out, and they'll just rent it out again. So we have no way of knowing, if that tenant left, if a new tenant moved in, and there was no inspections done in between. I think if we start doing that and making it a little tougher for the out-of-town landlords to control their properties and keep them up to date. If it's stricter for out-of-towners to come in and do that, then it'll be harder for them to want to purchase properties here, which will bring the markets back down again to where they should be. And that, in turn, will create probably a better buying agreement for the rest of the people that want to come in and buy houses for themselves.
Thank you. Recently, the federal government has taken efforts to drastically downsize or eliminate certain agencies and programs, some of which are likely to affect the city's own policies and programs. How do you plan to address these potential changes in funding or support?
Well, I mean, that's a hypothetical question so far, as we haven't really seen anything. But it's a possibility and it can happen, and I agree with that. Right now, at the federal level, my relationship with our senator, our congressman, is such that I can pick up the phone and call them. I can ask them anything. I can ask them to do almost anything we need. I would do whatever I have to do for the people of our city so we're covered and make sure that we have the support and that we need here. And like I said, being able to be on a one-on-one level with Congressman Brezahan or Senator McCormick and call them up. And I mean, I could call their personal cell phones and say, hey guys, like, what are you doing here? This is hurting my residents, our friends, our neighbors. We have to do something. And hopefully that'll be substantial.
Over the past several years, Scranton residents have expressed concerns about the rising cost of utilities. This includes this year's UGI proposed rate increase ranging from 7.5% to 11% for natural gas customers.
Right.
As a member of City Council, how would you address residents' concerns about these rising utility costs?
Well, I feel their concerns because I see it myself and it is painful. Looking myself, only because I had no idea that these things were available, there are discounts, there are reimbursements, there are help from the state, from the federal government for these things. But I don't think a lot of people know about that. And communication is key in business as well as government. If we started to reach out to the people through whether it's neighborhood associations or town halls, and sit down with them and the utility people and try to explain what's out there and what's available for them for help and save them some money, get them out. On the other side of that, I think we have to push for rate hikes, rate hike freezes. Sorry, not hikes, but freezes. This is crazy. I mean, their business is providing a product to us, whether it's gas, water, electricity. I'm in business. I can't charge you more because my tools are worn out. That's on my side. So the same thing with them. That should have been included in the cost of the product. Now when they decide that we need new water pipes or new gas pipes or new electric service issues, that shouldn't be on us. That should be on them. They should need to take that out of their own pocket.
As Scranton continues to grow and change, zoning policies play a key role in shaping the city's future.
They do.
How would you approach updating the city's zoning code to support goals like economic development, housing availability, and neighborhood character, while ensuring that community voices are part of that process?
The very first thing that I would do would be complete revamp of the zoning board. I don't believe anybody should be on the zoning board without some sort of knowledge, background in zoning, whether it's engineering, city planning, community relations, something of that nature. I mean, you can't just have somebody on a zoning board because they're good at cleaning a park or they're a teacher in a school or something like that. They're somebody's friend. We need people there from our city that know about these things, that have degrees, background, something. And any changes that they plan on doing, again, communication is key. We should host events throughout the city with neighborhood associations or just outright groups, and have them sit down and discuss all these planned changes in advance and what they think of them and what they would like to see either changed or not changed, and work with them that way.
Much of Scranton's infrastructure, from roads and sidewalks to water and sewer systems, is aging and in need of repair. Given the reality of budget constraints and competing priorities, how would you identify and fund the most urgent infrastructure needs while ensuring long-term resilience and success across neighborhoods?
Well, I think the biggest infrastructure problem that we have in the city are our roads. I mean, anybody you talk to, they're going to complain about the roads. And a lot of the road conditions are due to pavement cuts. We don't have, we had a pavement cut officer, whatever they call them. They eliminated that and they went with an outside business to do this. That shouldn't happen either. I mean, you have an outside firm that's doing our pave cut calls, and these are people that work generally with most of these contractors throughout the county. We want somebody from the city. We should have a city employee along with the city engineer and rewrite our pave cut laws. And they're not hard. I was looking at some of them from around the surrounding area. There's other boroughs and towns here that have pave cut ordinances that are pretty good. And what we need to do is, 5 years after a road's been paved, or while it's been paved, not touched. If it has to be cut, bring it up to the grades that it was before you opened it. You'll be allotted so much time to get it filled, sealed, and it's got to be right to our specifications. If it's not, there's a $500 a day charge for that. If you don't pay that charge after so many days, and we wind up as a city having to take care of it and bringing it up to the right specs, you're going to be charged for that. If you still don't pay that, you don't ever work in the city again, and that's just the bottom line. I mean, you got to hold it. You got to hold a hard line with that. I think once we start taking care of the pave cuts, more attacking them more aggressively, and keeping on these utilities to do this and charging them, that'll be less that we have to do down the road as far as paving them. If we're on top of it from the beginning, you don't have to worry about it later on.
Finally, with what time we have remaining, what else would you like voters to keep in mind when they head to the polls on Tuesday, May 20th?
What would I like them to keep in mind? Well, one, make sure you get out and vote, because that's a very important thing. But I'm not a career politician. I'm not looking to advance, politically anywhere. I'm not a political family member that would be, owing to them for whatever policies that we have to decide. I'm not backed by any political group or faction here in the city, trying to push their agenda. I'm a business owner. I'm a homeowner. I'm a family man. Simply put, I'm one of you. I'm just a resident that's upset of the direction our city's headed, and enough's enough. And it's time for me or anyone to stand up and say, we need change in the city. And hopefully, I respectfully ask that the people come this May and again in November. I ask them humbly for their vote. And I will be the change that Scranton needs. I will be the voice of the people.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Again, Marc Pane is running to be the Republican nominee for Scranton City Council. Please remember to vote on Tuesday, May 20th.